Hello and welcome to BusyWorksBeats.com. Today we continue the artist series right here at BusyWorksBeats.com/premium. Today we're going to focus on Juice WRLD, RIP. We're going to focus on his melodic background beats, and then I'll try to do a vocal. I can't always hit his style of voice, but we'll try to add like a little mock vocal over it so you understand the context. A lot of people, they overly produce and they wonder why. It's because you don't have the vocal in your process. So I'll show you how to add a vocal in your beat making process to make your beat making better, because you'll leave more room. If you don't know me, I'm Game from BusyWorksBeats.com. We've trained over 800,000 producers around the world. Some have gone to work with Drake, Kanye West, Post Malone, Young Thug, YG, French Montana, J. Cole, Trippie Redd. Did I say Ariana Grande? I probably did already. I'm going to start repeating myself. But a lot of folks on the Billboard charts. And today we're going to focus on Juice WRLD. You will get the project files for free. So smash the like button, subscribe if you're new, and let's get straight to it. So the sound selection I'm going for, we're going to be in the key of G minor. And if you don't know the notes for G minor, because I don't memorize keys either, it's easier for me to start at C than G for this key, bars. So we're just... Okay, that's our key for today. So it's G minor if I played that properly. To triple check, go to Scalar. Here's a plugin you probably want to add to your arsenal so you don't have to keep relying on other softwares. Just hit record and it tells you the possible key. Most keys in hip hop are minor. So this is the G minor key. Okay. So now that you have the musical information, it's pretty simple from here. It's more so the effects you add to your melody. And again, people overly produce because they think that the beat has to do everything and then the artist is just there. But for the melodic artists, they are melodic. So hopefully that broke a barrier in your mind. For the melodic trap and melodic artists like Juice WRLD, they are the melody. So your beat doesn't have to be the melody, the chords. It doesn't have to be everything. For older hip hop where they were just doing vocals and raps and bars, that's when the beat had to do everything because the vocal was just bars. It wasn't melodic. Now that the artists are melodic, you have to pull back on your melodies to leave room for the artist. And that's where people don't leave enough room. So now that we're in the key of G minor, I have up the Roland Jupiter 8 just for a padsy type of sound. So I'm going to start there and then probably shape the sound and show you a bunch of filter plugins you could use. Really modern. Let's also tap the tempo out. We're at like 156. So modern music is more so about the effects you add. So I'll show you that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now the next chord, I'm just hacking my way through this. Hold on a sec, I'm trying to figure out the chord. Okay, it took me a while to eyeball that one. I'm not used to the key of G minor. So that's what I do if I have an idea, but I want to space it out. So again, you're going to get all these project files. We'll clean up the sound. Don't worry about the raw sound right now. I'm just going for a padsy sound. Hit Alt-Q to quantize. Some of these notes might be a little before the bar. That's because pads take time to build up. Okay, so we can start with that sound. Now let's go through a bunch of plugins. I'll just show you a couple things you could use, but you want to go for more filter type plugins. There's Arturia's effects collection that they have. This one's really good. It's based off the Moog type filters. So I'm going to add a low pass filter and then a little resonance it's called. And then you could do what's called step sequencer effects, which basically add accents to your filter. So let's make that map and let's do cutoff mod. I believe this is, actually that's our LFO. Let's do this, I think. There we go. Sequence to cutoff. So this adds movement to your sound. So now it's not just a static thing. Try adding a little drive. It just kind of smoothens it out, but it adds that saturation sound. So let's mess with this knob. I like this. Okay, so we can always mess with that later. So that's the core sound. Now it has a lot of mud in it, so that's where we're gonna use a multi-band compressor to just tame a lot of that mud. So I'm just gonna do a rough kind of, we're gonna solo this. The frequency range where all the mud occurs is usually 300 to about 100 hertz. Just gonna tame that with the compressor. So we still get the tone of it, but we're not getting all that clutter right there. Okay, now we can layer that sound. So we're gonna take these chords, Control C. Now I'm trying to use plugins that people can afford, but this one we're gonna use Omnisphere just to show you how to do stuff, because I'm gonna show you the arpeggiator function in Omnisphere. So let's paste the chords. The only thing we have to do is hit Control V, hit Control L to send it to the mixer. And again, you'll get the project files for free, so don't worry about memorizing all this stuff. But the only difference here is that we want to quantize to the grid this time. So let's hit Control Q to quantize to the grid so that it's not a little bit ahead of the bar, because now we're gonna use. So this is the default Saw sound from Omnisphere. It's a lot of S's. So I'm gonna use the sounds that I saved as my favorites. And we're gonna start here. And I wanna hear these in context. So let's go to song mode and add this in. And then I'll show you how to arpeggiate these to create a section that's a little more upbeat. I like to think of my melodies and stuff almost like drums. I like that sound. If we had a lot more reverb. It's a little playful though. You gotta be careful with the sound selection. This is probably better. Because we can reverse this, we can do a bunch of effects. I like the sound, that's probably gonna be the one I choose. This one's nice and padsy, I like that as well. But let's just keep going until we find that. I forgot, let's try guitar. Let's go to arpeggio mode now. And let's set the mode to 1/8 timing and pull in our bar count to like 4/3. Now, some like to do 3 and then a pause. So it has some kind of bounce to it. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, like that. And what people don't know is you can add slide features to your arpeggio in Omnisphere if you click that little thing up top. And it adds like this spacey tone to it. You could also do transposition, which is pulling it up or down an octave. Now we get this kind of spacey vibe. And then from here, I'm gonna add effects. Okay, so your favorite effect is gonna be gross beat here. Now it's gonna change the melodic notes. So go to presets, momentary. Let me make sure this audio is coming through, because sometimes we get a little quirky on that. Okay, so now we're gonna add momentary. Go to half speed. And what people don't know is you can blend this with the green knob. So I'm gonna slow it down all the way. Let me see if I can save this arpeggio so I don't have to make it again. Let's see if we can save. Can we save? Save preset. Okay, this way I don't have to create it again. Let's call this like octave jump, because I want a different sound. So I want to go back to this sound. Then I want to load up that preset. Now if it's too slow, you can pull back half speed. If you want more bounce. Okay, let's run it through the filter again, just to add that kind of same character. Cut off mod sequence. I wanted to move a little bit faster. I want it to be a little more, let's pick a different sound. That's not the exact sound I want. So here's what I'll do. Let's take that sound, let's right click, go to the playlist, consolidate this track from track start. Okay, now we have it as an audio clip, and now we can do a little more stuff to it. Let's go to channel settings, mode, stretch mode, because I want to keep it same pitch, but then we're going to pull the pitch up 1 octave. Okay, so it doesn't sound so dragged down with that growth speed. I like this blend. And then we can send that to a reverb. So let's hit Control L. Now we're gonna try different things. I'm gonna put a direct reverb on it. This is FabFilter's Pro R. I like this, it creates this like spacey sound. It's gonna take off this EQ right here. Go blur it out with the little chorus, then pull it closer to close mode. And that way it just adds like an atmospheric background. That's my style. You can do the same thing for your pads. Let's consolidate that, see if we get a better, not a better, but a different sound from it. Okay, now let's see with the pads. Let's go to the top left, channel settings, go to mode, stretch mode. Let's pull this up 1 octave, which is 1200 cents. In the top left, I'm reading that value. Because what happens when you pitch it up like this, it adds grain, it adds like a grit to it. It's just a little confusing. So we're gonna pull it back down, but it was worth the try. Also, always try reverse. Let's try reversing both. I think there's too much going on for reverse here, but always at least try reverse because we're not used to hearing music in reverse. So you might stumble across something crazy. Okay, now let's balance these. I don't like the reverb effect on it. It pushes it too far in the back. It just needs a little more width and a little more weight to it. So let's label this. Let's call this melody bounce. Okay, so that's how you get unique textures. I know that took a little bit, but it's really about the effects. It's not really the notes that you're using. But we were in G minor just in case. And I think we have some more sounds. Thought I had a guitar loaded up. Oh, I do, here we go. So I'm gonna layer this guitar after we do the vocals. So we'll do that afterwards. Okay, so let's focus on the core bounce. Let's go to pattern 4. Add this clap. So if you have trouble with drums, go to your metronome, turn it on, and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so it's 3 and 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we're gonna layer that with the snare. Turn the clap down. I don't know why my phone won't go on silent. Whatever. I tried to silence it, but whatever, it is what it is. Put it over there. So it's not loud, okay. That's not gonna be good for the for the recording portion. Gotta figure out how to put this thing on silent. Just, my button's stuck. Not that you guys care, but it's letting you know. That could interfere with the recording. So I might put this phone upstairs. Okay, so let's work on the hi-hats. The hi-hats are gonna be pretty basic. So in this case, I'll just draw them in the same pattern. Usually I separate them, but let's right click, release 2 steps. It's pretty simple. So what we're gonna do is play the 808 first and then build it up and copy the notes into the kick, the timing. So we went, ding. So here we can play a little melodic. Okay, so just playing a chord really, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're playing a G minor chord backwards in the bass. Everything's really chord based. Actually, I want to 1, 2, 3. Okay, so it's pretty melodic with the bass. Say Alt Q, quantize. Hit Control down. Wonder why this bass is sounding so loud. Okay, so let's add this kick. Let's paste it. Go to your 808s. Hit Control C. Go to a new pattern. Find your kick, hit Control V, and then pull everything. Oh, we must have layered notes. I don't know how that happened there. Let's figure this. I don't know what I must have pressed, but let's delete the layered notes. Oh, I know what happened. It saved the recording from before. So that's why it was loud. The notes were overlapping. Okay. Then we'll add the guitar over top to change it up. Okay, let's pull these kicks down the middle C, which is C5. Hit Control to highlight the whole note, and then hit. So hit Control, left click on the piano roll. Hit Control down to go down an octave and shift up. Okay, so you can hit Control down to just pull everything down, and then Shift to move it note by note. So we're just following the timing of the 808. Then we're gonna add that in to layer with the 808. Now there's a lot of mixing that goes behind it, but I want to save time with mixing. Mixing just takes a while. So we're just gonna let them both play. Let's get the levels right. Okay, so at this point you just come up with good lyrics, but let's add that guitar part. So let's create like a second section over here where the guitar comes in, and then usually I do vocals first. Let's actually do vocals first, then wrap the guitar around the vocals, so you're not just doing guitar by itself with no context. So I have the key loaded up. I have the key loaded up on my other mic, so let's get a recording going. Now, I meant to mention the way he records is punch-in style. So you're going to do one line, like, let me think of a lyric for a second. Disappear like magic, call it David Copperfield. And then you do another line, okay? So that's how you record in his style. Disappear like magic, call it David Copperfield. Let's get these bars ready. Check. Let's go this way. Disappear like magic, call it David Copperfield. Disappear like magic, call it David Copperfield. Let's see what it sounds like first. Disappear like magic, call it David Copperfield. You gotta add like a little field. You gotta add that like David Copperfield. You gotta add that rock tone to it. So I'm not used to that tone, but I'll try it. Disappear like magic, call it David Copperfield. Disappear like magic, call her David Copperfield. I forgot the next line. Let me think. Disappear like magic, call her David Copperfield. Disappear like magic, call her David Copperfield.
Copperfield. And I just want a moment where the girl I can chill.
That didn't make sense. That didn't make any sense. So I'm trying to write a song on the fly. You gotta forgive me here. Disappear like magic, call it David Copperfield. And I just want a moment with the girl that I can feel. And I just want a moment with the girl. There we go.
Disappear like magic, call her David Copperfield. And I just want a moment with the girl that I can feel.
So notice how we're overlapping.
But every time she comes up in my mind, man, I can chill. But every time she comes up, but every time she something, gotta chill. Disappear like magic, call her David Copperfield. And I just want a moment with the girl that I can feel. But every time she comes up in my mind, she gotta chill. Disappear like magic, call her David Copperfield. And I just want a moment with the girl that I can feel. But every time she comes up in my mind, she gotta chill. And every time I'm
I gotta come up with something better at the end of the thing.
and every time I'm and every time something. And every time disappear like magic, call her David Copperfield. And I just want a moment with the girl that I can feel. But every time she comes up in my mind, she gotta chill. And every time that she comes up in my mind, I can drill.
But every time she comes up in my mind.
Disappear like magic, call her David Copperfield. And I just want a moment with the girl that I can feel. But every time she comes up in my mind, she gotta chill. And every time that she comes up in my mind, I can drill.
That last line's a little. Just gotta come up with one more line and then I'll.
And every time disappear like magic, call her David Copperfield. And I just want a moment with the girl that I can feel. But every time she comes up in my mind, she gotta chill. And every time that she's on my mind, girl, you gotta chill.
Okay, so we'll do. So that's how you do a punch in. You just kind of record over the thing you did before. Oh, I'm talking to the wrong mic. I'm talking to the wrong mic. So how you do those? Again, you just record a piece and then go back, record the next piece, and just kind of overlap a little bit.
Disappear like magic, call her David Copperfield. And I just want a moment with the girl that I can feel. But every time she comes up in my mind, she gotta chill. And every time that she's on my mind, girl, you gotta chill.
So we can come up with more bars. I could keep spitting to it, but it might take a little bit.
Disappear like magic, call her David Copperfield. And I just want a moment with the girl that I can feel. But every time she comes up in my mind, she gotta chill. And every time that she's on my mind, girl, you gotta chill.
So now I'm just gonna do melody. It's not necessarily Juice WRLD, this next melody, but I hear it in my head.
Disappear like magic, call.
I forgot it that quick.
Disappear like magic, call her David Copperfield. And I just want a moment with the girl that I can feel. But every time she comes up in my mind, she gotta chill. And every time that she's on my mind, girl, you gotta chill. Do what I like, think the way I roll to end the call. When I'm on the road, I can't run till basically I'm gone. I can't run alone. Running when you're gone.
That's right in my head.
Do what I like, think the way I roll to end the call. When I'm on the road, I can't run till basically I'm gone. I can't run alone. Running when you're gone.
Okay. So then you would do like the rap bars where you just punch in, do bars. I just don't want to waste your time trying to come up with bars because I don't have any bars. Off the top of my head, I would have to really sit with it. So let's hear it in the headphone mix. And then let's hear what we have so far. So let's route all these to, let's just hit Control L, but we're gonna group those. So we're gonna over here and just call this vocal group or something like that. Hit Control, highlight all these, right click, and route those to that track. So my vocal chain is pretty, this is not the exact vocal chain. I'm being lazy with the vocal mixing. So the first thing we're gonna do is set up reverb. And I should just have a preset saved, so I don't have to keep doing this every time. So I'm gonna set up the Valhalla Vintage Verb, and I'm gonna set up I'm gonna take out the mid, because it tends to get blurry in the mid for me. So I'm gonna take this, go to mid side, and just compress the middle a little bit so that the side's a little more wide. Then send the vocal group to the reverb. So again, the vocal chain is going to be pretty dense. I'm just going to load up a default one. But again, there's so much more to this vocal chain that I would have to add like... Let's also create like a delay aux, some kind of effects aux. So we have like a throw delay or some kind of creative delay structure going on. So I'm just gonna add a bunch of plugins to this. It's just to add different texture to the vocal. Let's do tempo sync off.
Gotta chill. And every time that she's on my mind, girl, you gotta chill. Disappear like magic, call her David Copperfield. And I just want a moment with the girl that I can feel. But every time she comes up in my mind, she gotta chill. And every time that she's on my mind, girl, you gotta chill. Disappear like magic, call her David Copperfield. And I just disappear like magic, call her disappear like magic, call her David Copperfield. And I just want a moment with the girl that I can feel. But every time she comes up in my mind, she gotta chill. And every time that she's on my mind, girl, you gotta chill. Disappear like magic, call her David Copperfield. And I just want a moment with the girl that I can feel. But every time she comes up in my mind, she gotta chill.
So again, the vocal could be better. I don't have his exact tone. So I shortened the 808 up a little bit.
I like the way I roll to end a call when I'm on the road. I can't run till basically I'm gone. I can't run.
It's just my vocals are just so low. His octave is 1 octave up.
Disappear like magic, call her David Copperfield. And I just want a moment with the girl that I can feel. But every time she comes up in my mind, she gotta chill. And every time that she's on my mind, girl, you gotta chill. I do what I like, think the way I roll.
Also, let's arrange this. I forgot to take out the art.
Disappear like magic, call her David Copperfield. And I just want a moment with the girl that I can feel. But every time she comes up in my mind, she gotta chill. And every time that she's on my mind, girl, you gotta chill. I do what I like, think the way.
Now I want to do a better vocal.
Can't let that be the rules in my head.
So I'm just going to kind of show you how this phone is going to be messing up my recording. So you want to keep going back and refining the vocal. Really, at this point, it's vocal production. Getting the right tone.
Bass, bass. So now we're just gonna do a bunch of vocal stuff.
Also, I'm really close to the mic.
The Maybelline, but you need to see. Every day I swear to love and love. Lately, I just said remember. Now I'm in the major league. Bass times on the track. Yeah, I'm feeling entertained. What I'm known.
Stuff like that. Let's just record random stuff.
I do what I want now. The truck on the front now. Ferrari in the garage now.
Wait, let me start off better. Wait, what would?
Contemplating around and about in my head. If it around. Do you know what you're telling me? I'm running off for a felony. I've been away, but I can't go long. Out of luck, but I can't go strong. Is it the way that she's rolling me? Out of the rock, it's trolling me. I've been away, but I can't so long. Driving the nails, but she can't so long. Driving around me, I can feel this money out. Baby me, I should've been on Copperfield. I should've been like Copperfield. This big body ain't got for real.
I already had breath. But that's why punch-ins exist. Crap. Ran out of juice. Ran out of the juice. How do I make this phone silent, y'all? I don't know how to do it.
So driving around me, I can feel this money out. Baby me, I should've been on Copperfield. I should've been like Copperfield. This big body ain't got for real. telling me I'm running off for a felony. I've been away, but I can't go long. Out of luck, but I can't go strong. It's in the way that she's rolling me. Out of the rock, it's trolling me. I've been away, but I can't so long. Driving the nails, but she can't so long.
All right, since we're spending so much time on vocals, I'll just skip the vocals. You can do the vocals. So I'll just play the beat and then we'll vibe to it, and then you'll get the project files for free. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. Now we're just gonna turn the guitar down if I can find it. Okay, so now you just add stuff over top to add a vibe. So I'm just gonna find a plugin to add a little flair, maybe a flute, something on top. All right, so I added like a pad going through the filter just for movement. Okay, I'll solo it so you can hear. Just a little subtle background. Okay, so let's open up the instruments. I might gross beat the guitar. Okay, so the flute, debatable, but then the vocal's the real key. So it's that punch-in style technique. I'll end the video here because right now we're just adding a little polish to it. So thanks for watching. It's Game. If you're new here, subscribe, and the project files are free. Go to busyworksbeats.com/FL Studio. Peace.